Have you ever thought about the potentially deadly energy running through the walls of your home? I'm talking about electricity, and it is not to be messed with. There's one device keeping you and your home safe from this powerful force: your electrical panel. In this video, we're going to look at what electrical panels do in your home and how they work, plus how to deal with tripped breakers and other problems. And finally, the home insurance angle. Get ready. Before we get too in-depth, it helps to understand exactly what electrical panels are supposed to do. They're safety devices that prevent out-of-control electricity from damaging your home. If something goes wrong with an electrical circuit, the breakers inside the electrical panel automatically shut off power to that circuit. Without the breakers, short-circuiting or overloaded circuits could start fires. But these are more than just safety devices. The electrical panel is like a distribution center for electricity in your home. Electricity comes from the public power grid, through a meter, and then to your home's electrical panel. From there, it's split into multiple circuits to power your home. The total amount of power your electrical panel can supply is limited by your home's electrical service. Your panel tells you the strength of your electrical service, which is measured in amps. Most homes in Canada have at least 100 amp service. In fact, they need to. According to most building codes, big homes often need 200 amp service. If your service isn't strong enough, your electrical system will be overloaded, and that means potential overheating and maybe even electrical fires. In fact, if you don't have at least 100 amp service, you might have a hard time finding home insurance. But more on that later. Now, if you're wondering how to find your electrical panel, look for a metal box in the wall, usually gray, with a little door on the front. They're usually someplace out of the way, like a basement, laundry room, or garage. In an apartment or condo, you'll normally find it near the entrance to your unit. Now that you know where to find your electrical panel, it's time to learn how it works. Inside your electrical panel, you're going to see a bunch of on and off switches. These are the circuit breaker switches. If something goes wrong on one of your circuits, the corresponding switch will trip, meaning it shuts off power to that circuit. Usually, each circuit controls one small area of the house. Power-hungry appliances like ovens or air conditioners normally each have their own circuit. For example, you might have two breaker switches for your living room, one for the lights and another for the power outlets. In the kitchen, you might have one for the power outlets, one for the lights, and two more for the oven and refrigerator. Then, another set for the bedrooms, another again for the garage, one for the HVAC system, and so on. Now, each of these breaker switches has a different amperage rating. The amperage rating is how much electrical load they can handle before they trip. Most home-size breakers are 15, 20, or 30 amps. Smaller ones are for outlets and lighting circuits, and big ones are for appliances. So, that is how electrical panels work. Now, what happens when you plug in the toaster and all the lights suddenly shut off? Hello? When you trip a circuit breaker, resetting it is easy. First, figure out what caused the trip. Did you just plug in or turn on an electronic device? That's probably what did it. Unplug the device, then go to your electrical panel and look at the switches inside. There should be one in the off position, or possibly in the middle, between on and off. Flip that switch all the way off, then back on. That will solve your typical tripped breaker. Just turn it on and off. If the same breaker trips all the time, its circuit may be overloaded. That means there are too many electrical devices connected to it. The solution is to move a few devices to other circuits. If spreading the electrical load around doesn't solve your tripping issue, there may be another, more serious issue. It could be that your home service just isn't enough to meet your electricity needs. That would mean you need to upgrade to 100 or 200 amp service. Or you could have damaged wires somewhere in your system that are causing short circuits. Either way, you will need to get in touch with an electrician to figure out what's wrong and to fix it. Even if your electrical panel is humming along smoothly, you should have an electrician do routine maintenance at least every 3 years. As mentioned before, your home insurance provider will probably ask about your home's electrical panel. Why do they care? There are two reasons, and they're both fire hazards. First, if your home's electrical service is less than 100 amps, there is a very strong chance it's not carrying enough juice to power your modern electronics. Overloaded electrical systems generate heat, which can start fires. The second thing, if you have a fuse box instead of a breaker panel, it's even more of a fire hazard. Fuses work basically the same as breaker switches. They blow when there's too much current running through them and shut off the power. But fuse boxes are easily tampered with. You can replace a small fuse with a big one, which means it'll take more power to blow it than the wires can handle. Again, overloaded wires equal fire hazard. Or you can just jam a bit of conductive metal in the fuse slot and enjoy uninterrupted power. Right until something catches fire. Please don't do that. To sum up, home insurance providers prefer that you have an electrical panel with breaker switches and at least 100 amp service. If you are missing either of these things, they either won't offer insurance or they'll require an in-depth electrical inspection before they do. If you happen to be looking for home insurance for your home and your electrical panel, you can get a free quote in less than 5 minutes by clicking the button on the screen. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this helpful. Pitch black. Woo!